Welcome to the True Tomorrows podcast.
Yes.
Get ready for your weekly science fiction probe into the captivating world of flash fiction.
Oh, yeah. This week we've got
This week, you've brought us two
your great stuff.
thrilling tales
Yeah.
that feel like they've blasted straight out of the headline
Headlines of the future.
of tomorrow, unlike our own. Stories packed with action and intrigue and that enduring spark of heroism.
That's what we like.
Think blockbuster movies or epic sagas, all condensed into bite-sized narratives just for you.
Bite-sized. Love it.
Our first science fiction probe today takes us to a future where the natural world is in peril,
Oh,
and a guardian bearing a powerful legacy must step forward to defend it.
okay.
We're going to explore Hawkeye's Echo, a flash fiction story you shared that plunges us into a world shadowed by corporate greed and lingering echoes of the past.
The echoes of the past.
What was it about this wilderness protector's struggle that you found so compelling?
Well, I think what immediately grabs you in Hawkeye's Echo is that stark contrast, isn't it?
Yeah.
The story paints this vivid picture of the natural world, a scarlet bleeding sky, the scent of wet earth and pine,
Yeah.
and immediately throws it against the cold, encroaching presence of Corp suits and their gleaming drones.
Yeah.
It sets up this fundamental conflict we see echoed in so many stories and even in our own world.
Right.
The tension between nature and technology, the individual standing against a powerful institution,
Yeah.
and this idea of a clone inheriting a legendary connection to the land. That's a really intriguing starting point, don't you think?
Absolutely. It's like this ancient connection to the wilderness is fighting for survival in a very modern, almost hostile future.
Yeah.
And River, this true clone of Hawkeye, he embodies that tension. He clearly belongs in the forest sanctuary, but this external threat forces him into a confrontation.
Right.
Then this character, Trapper, appears a figure shrouded in his worn leathers.
Yeah.
What did his introduction bring to the story for you?
Well, I think Trapper injects a real sense of urgency in the unknown. His description, long nights and desperate journeys, immediately tells you he's a survivor.
Right.
Someone who understands the harsh realities of this future world.
Yeah.
He acts as the catalyst, revealing the specific target of the corporation's interest. This ancient ruin that houses weather-controlling technology.
Whoa.
Suddenly, the stakes are raised significantly. It's not just about protecting a forest, it's about the potential for widespread, even global consequences.
Exactly. This corporation wanting to control the weather for profit.
Oh, scary.
It's a chillingly plausible extension of some of the environmental and economic anxieties we grapple with today, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
And it's interesting how the story layers in this legendary aspect, this belief that Hawkeye, River's ancestor,
Right.
possessed the knowledge to counter these machines.
Yeah.
River himself voices his doubt, calling himself just a copy, an echo.
Yeah, he's got that imposter syndrome.
What did that internal conflict suggest to you about the story's deeper themes?
I think that internal struggle is key to understanding River's journey. He's grappling with the weight of this inherited legacy, questioning his own identity and capabilities. It brings up this important question. What does it truly mean to inherit a name, a legend? Is it purely about genetics, or is there something more involved, perhaps a learned wisdom, a shared spirit, or a connection to something larger than oneself? Trapper's unwavering faith in the legend puts immense pressure on River, forcing him to confront his own potential and perhaps redefine what that legacy truly means.
Yeah. Here's a moment in the story that really stood out to me. As they infiltrate the Corp's camp, it's almost as if the forest itself is reacting. The narrative says, the forest seemed to stir, awakening a primal instinct within him. It's like the land recognizes its protector, or maybe something dormant within River is finally awakening. What was your interpretation of that moment?
Oh, that's a fascinating point. It definitely suggests a connection between River and the natural world that goes beyond mere genetics. It could be the environment triggering latent instincts, honed over generations by his ancestor. Or you could even read it as a hint of something more mystical, a kind of symbiotic relationship where the wild spirit of the earth recognizes and perhaps even empowers its chosen champion. It blurs the lines, doesn't it, between hard science fiction and something more ancient and deeply rooted in folklore.
And then the action really takes off.
Yeah, here we go.
River demonstrates this incredible skill with the bow silently taking down guards. Trapper's awe is palpable.
He's like, wow.
It's like River is channeling something beyond his own individual abilities.
Mm-hmm.
And then they finally reach the ancient machine.
Right.
What struck you most about the description of this technology?
Well, the language used to describe the machine is really telling. It's not just advanced, it's a perversion of the natural order, a blight on the landscape.
Yeah.
This reinforces the story's central theme of environmental protection and justifies River's almost visceral resistance. It's not just about stopping a corporation's greedy scheme, it's about defending the fundamental harmony of the planet itself.
And in that climactic moment, despite the urgency, River hesitates.
Oh.
It's Trapper who identifies the crucial target. It highlights this unexpected collaboration between these two very different characters.
Yeah, they work well together.
And then River closes his eyes, connects with the forest, and unleashes not just his own strength, but the legacy of Hawkeye, the spirit of the wild itself. The arrow strikes, and the machine is destroyed.
Awesome.
It's a pretty decisive resolution to this immediate threat.
It is.
What did you make of the aftermath?
Well, I think the aftermath is crucial for understanding the story's message about legacy. The core forces scatter, and River is left trembling not from fear, but from the raw power he's just unleashed.
Wow.
Trapper's simple statement, "Damn, Mohican, guess the legends were true," validates the enduring impact of Hawkeye's name. But River's final thought is the most significant. He wasn't Hawkeye. And yet today, he'd honored his ancestor's name. Maybe that was enough. Maybe that was how the legacy lived on. It's a really nuanced understanding of legacy. It's not about being a perfect copy, but about embodying the same core values and spirit in a new context, facing new challenges. It makes you think about how we carry forward the best of what came before us.
It really does make you consider how we inherit and reinterpret the values and actions of those who came before, even when the world around us has changed dramatically.
Definitely.
Okay, so let's shift gears now and plunge into the neon-drenched underbelly of Merry Men 2.0. This flash fiction story takes a classic heroic archetype and drops him into a strikingly different dystopian future you brought to our attention.
Yeah.
What was your initial impression of this futuristic world?
Well, the story immediately establishes a similar kind of contrast we saw in Hawkeye's Echo, but instead of nature versus technology, it's the stark division between the opulent, gleaming chrome monolith of Magnifia Tower and then polluted, suffering city below.
Ooh. The sky bruised by pollution.
Yeah.
It's a classic dystopian setup highlighting extreme social and economic inequality.
Right.
But with this layer of advanced technology woven throughout.
Right.
And Link, this true clone of Robin Hood, seems perfectly adapted to this concrete jungle of misery and opulence, doesn't he?
Exactly. He's not some romantic figure longing for a simpler, greener past. He's got street kid grit engineered into his DNA, making him a perfect fit for this harsh environment.
Yeah.
And his inheritance isn't just legendary archery skills.
Right.
It's a knack for trouble and this burning hatred for the core who squeeze the life from the city.
He's seen it all.
He's a Robin Hood reimagined for a hyper-technological age.
Oh, yes.
And his merry men are definitely not your traditional band of outlaws. Tell us about this modern-day crew.
Well, Link's crew is a direct reflection of the technological landscape of this future. Flick, the hacking whiz, is essential for navigating the complex digital infrastructure that underpins this society.
Jax, the grease monkey with a penchant for explosives,
I love Jax,
handles the more direct physical disruptions. And Maya, the inside agent, provides crucial intelligence from within the elite circles.
Okay.
They're a diverse group of outcasts, each possessing specialized skills that complement Link's own talents.
Right.
It's a clever and logical reimagining of the classic Merry Men for a technologically advanced setting.
It is.
Showing how the spirit of collaboration and rebellion adapts to new tools and challenges.
Yeah, their initial target is a delivery van, supposedly carrying MedCorp rations, resources that aren't reaching the people who need them.
Yeah.
But what they discover inside is far more revealing about the twisted priorities of this society.
Oh.
It's not food, but bioimplants, youth extenders, strength boosters, clearly intended for the wealthy elite and incredibly valuable on the black market. What did this discovery tell you about the core issues of this future world?
Well, this discovery really throws the extreme inequality of this society into sharp relief. While the majority of the population likely lacks basic necessities like adequate health care and nutrition, the privileged few have access to advanced technologies that further enhance their advantages, even extending their youth and physical capabilities.
Right, wow.
It underscores the callousness of the corporations and the profound social divide that fuels Link's actions.
Yeah.
The fact that these implants command such a high price on the black market also highlights a system where even fundamental aspects of well-being have been commodified and turned into commodities for the rich.
Oh, okay. So instead of simply stealing and redistributing wealth in the traditional sense, Link adopts a more strategic and symbolic approach. He decides to use these implants not just to benefit a few individuals,
Right.
but to send a much broader message with a raid on Magnifia Tower itself.
Okay.
This isn't just about acquiring resources, it's a calculated act of defiance, isn't it?
Exactly. The raid on Magnifia Tower is almost a theatrical performance of rebellion. The fireworks, the anachronistic folk music blasting through the building's comms,
Oh, yeah.
Link rappelling down the side of this symbol of corporate power.
So cool.
It's all designed to capture the attention of the oblivious elite and disrupt their carefully constructed, insulated world.
Yeah.
He's not just stealing. He's exposing the injustice and planting the seeds of dissent, showing the vulnerable cracks in their seemingly impenetrable fortress.
And his method of attack is interesting, too. His arrows aren't always lethal.
Right.
One shatters a pristine window, another destroys a priceless vase.
A little bit of property damage.
It's disruptive and symbolic, targeting their comfort and their cherished symbols of wealth and status.
Right.
But the third arrow carries that crucial memory chip,
Oh, yes.
showcasing the stark reality of the poverty just outside their walls.
Oh, that's powerful.
It's a direct, undeniable confrontation with their willful ignorance.
It is.
What do you think?
This is where the story provides a really clever update to the Robin Hood narrative. Instead of merely taking their material possessions, Link is attempting to force the wealthy to confront the human cost of their privilege and the suffering of those they exploit. The memory chip acts as a kind of digital arrow aimed directly at their conscience, bypassing their physical security and hopefully triggering some form of empathy, or at least sowing seeds of doubt and unease within their ranks.
And the message he leaves behind: your time is running out, my lords and ladies. Sherwood Forest is growing.
Classic.
Is such a brilliant fusion of the classic legend and this starkly different reality. It suggests that the spirit of resistance is not only alive, but adapting and expanding within this new technological landscape.
That's a great point.
What do you think?
It's a powerful message of both hope and warning. It suggests that even in a technologically advanced dystopia, the fundamental human desire for justice and the will to resist oppression will persist and find new ways to manifest. The idea of Sherwood Forest growing implies a burgeoning movement, fueled by the very inequalities Link is fighting against, a sense that more and more people are joining the cause.
The ending is intriguing, too. Even after this daring and successful raid, Link isn't celebrating. He's back on a rooftop, overlooking the city, still focused on the ongoing struggle. Maya gently chides him for being a bit reckless, but there's this underlying sense that this is a continuous fight. And his final act, shooting a blunted arrow at a billboard advertising rejuvenation pods, shows his relentless focus on challenging the symbols and systems of inequality.
I love that.
What do you think?
That final image really reinforces the idea that the pursuit of justice is never truly finished. There will always be new forms of inequality, new ways in which power can be abused, and therefore a continuing need for those who are willing to challenge the status quo. Link's unwavering dedication, even after a significant victory, underscores the enduring nature of this struggle and the necessity of constant vigilance against those who would exploit and oppress others.
So after journeying into the shadowed forests with River and Hawkeye's Echo,
Yeah.
we see a future where even the most treasured natural spaces are vulnerable to exploitation, and the spirit of heroism can be rekindled in unexpected individuals.
Right.
The story really highlights that enduring tension between technological progress and the vital need to preserve our natural world, a theme that feels incredibly relevant even now.
It really does. Yeah.
What does River's fight suggest to you about how we should value our wild spaces and the kind of legacy we are currently creating?
Well, I think River's story compels us to really consider our relationship with the environment. Are we, as a society, willing to sacrifice the integrity of the natural world for short-term economic gains or the relentless pursuit of technological advancement? And what is our fundamental responsibility to protect these spaces, not just for ourselves, but for future generations?
Yeah.
His journey suggests that this deep connection to nature and the willingness to defend it might be a primal instinct that can be reawakened even in the most technologically saturated futures.
Then we plunge into the chrome and shadows of Merry Men 2.0, where Link and his crew remind us that the fight for fairness and against inequality can take on many forms, even in a technologically advanced but deeply divided world.
Absolutely.
The story offers a clever and compelling update of classic heroic tropes, demonstrating how the fundamental desire for justice can transcend both time and technology. It really makes you think. Who are the modern-day equivalents of the Sheriff of Nottingham in our own society, and in what new and innovative ways might the new Robin Hoods be rising up to challenge them?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Link's story really prompts us to examine how technology can both exacerbate existing social inequalities and potentially offer new tools for those who are fighting for a more just society. Are the dominant technological forces of our time inadvertently contributing to new forms of tyranny? And are there individuals and groups who are cleverly using these same technologies to push back against injustice and empower marginalized communities?
Yeah.
It's a fascinating question to consider.
Both of these flash fiction stories you shared with us, Hawkeye's Echo and Merry Men 2.0, offer such powerful and thought-provoking glimpses into potential futures, grappling with these really important themes of environmentalism, social justice, and the enduring power of the heroic archetype. They managed to pack so many compelling ideas into such concise narratives.
Absolutely. They demonstrate how even brief, action-oriented stories can serve as potent vehicles for exploring complex societal issues and offering fresh perspectives on timeless human struggles. They remind us that those core human desires for freedom, for justice, and for a healthy planet are likely to remain central to our stories no matter how radically technology continues to evolve.
We hope this science fiction probe into these two incredible tales from the world of flash fiction has ignited your imagination and given you some really interesting food for thought. There are definitely even more layers to explore in both of these stories, from the specifics of the future technologies they depict to the deeper motivations of all the characters involved.
Lots to dig into.
What aspects of these stories resonated most with you, and what questions are still lingering in your mind?
For me, what's particularly compelling is how both stories, in their own unique ways, explore the concept of legacy. River grapples with inheriting a literal ancestral legacy, while Link takes on and reinvents a legendary archetype for a completely new era. It really makes you ponder the enduring influence of the past. Yeah.
And how it continues to shape our present and our potential futures in ways we might not always expect.
Thanks for joining us on the True Tomorrows podcast for this latest science fiction probe. Rate and follow the show for more captivating weekly explorations into the ever-expanding universe of flash fiction. Until our next dive into the True Tomorrows, keep those speculative engines running.